Welcome to the Athletes Canvas channel, where the athletes display their God-given gift, talent, and ability. Today, we want to talk about the English Premier League preview show, the EPL preview show. Yes, the EPL is the best league in the world. The English Premier League is the most exciting league in the world. And whenever you want to watch a good game of football or soccer, whichever one you called it, look no further than the English Premier League. So let's jump right into it, where we give you scores, analysis, and fair opinion. We have a long game play yesterday between Leeds United and Nottingham Forest. Leeds United, they came away 3 goals to 1. They beat Nottingham Forest 3 goals to 1. Leeds United, they were look sharper than Nottingham Forest. They look a little bit more hungrier than Nottingham Forest. Hence, that's why they came out 3 goals to 1. They beat Nottingham Forest 3 goals to 1. So that win take them just a step further away from the relegation zone. Alright, the other game we have is Fulham versus Everton. Fulham, they were 1-0 up, but Everton, they clawed their way back into the game to win this game 2 goals to 1. Yes, they clawed their way back into the game to win this game 2 goals to 1. And then we have a mouth-watering game between Manchester United and Tottenham. And Manchester United 2, Tottenham 0. And Michael Carrick is doing well. He have a perfect record since taking over Manchester United. He beat Manchester City, he beat Arsenal, he beat Fulham, and now he beat Tottenham. So he win 4 from 4. He's doing very, very well. Like I said, Manchester United, they are back. Under Carrick, they are back. Manchester United, they are playing the never die attitude, the never lose attitude, and win at all costs attitude. So, Manchester United, they are back under Michael Carrick. And trust me, Champions League football is in sight. Champions League football is in sight. Manchester United, I can say, they look like they're going to play Champions League football again. Alright, so let's jump right into the next game. The next game we have is Burnley versus West Ham. West Ham, they came out on top 2 goals to 0. They barely host West Ham, but they could not come up with a goal. They could not come up with a goal. Burnley, they lost to West Ham 2 goals to 0. Yeah, they lost to West Ham 2 goals to 0. And let me tell you, Burnley is in the relegation area, is in the relegation zone, and it looked tough. Trust me, it looked real tough, because they just get promoted back to the top flight football, and in the same year, it looks like, I'm not saying that they're gonna go down, but it looks like they're gonna head back down to the championship. And also, West Ham is in the relegation zone. They're in the relegation zone, and they are fighting for top flight football for next season. So let's see how it goes. You're going to have a dog fight in the relegation zone between West Ham and Burnley. But for this game, West Ham beat Burnley 2-0. All right, let's jump right into the next game. The next game we saw is Chelsea. They scored 3 goals and Wolves won. Chelsea 3 goals and Wolves won. Chelsea beat Wolves 3-1. This game host at Wolverhampton home turf, but they could not muster a win. They could not came up with a win. Chelsea was too strong for them. Cole Palmer is the man who did the damage. Cole Palmer is the man that did the damage. So Chelsea 3 and Wolves 1. Let's jump right into the next game. The next game we have is Arsenal versus Sunderland. Yes, Arsenal 3, Sunderland 0. And the last time these two teams met, Sunderland was leading Arsenal 1-0. And Arsenal, they came back to equalize and took the lead. And in the dying moments of the game, Sunderland equalized 2-2. But Arsenal, they did not forget that Sunderland drew the first fixtures at Sunderland home turf. But now they are the Emirates. And Arsenal, they fight and grind out a victory to beat Sunderland 3-0. Sunderland was in the game. Even when Arsenal scored 1, Sunderland was still in the game. Until they scored twice to make it 2-0. And then another goal. Victor Gyökeres, he scored a brace in this game, while Zubamende scored the first goal. So Arsenal 3, Sunderland 0. The next game we have is Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa, they were in front. But Bournemouth, they came back with a equalize and they drew this game 1-1 apiece. The next game we have is a mouth-watering game. A mouth-watering one. The one between Newcastle and Brentford. Newcastle, they took the lead. Brentford, they came back and equalized. Then Brentford took the lead. Newcastle equalized. But Brentford, they found the all-important goal to beat Newcastle 3-2. So Brentford 3, Newcastle 2. Tomorrow we have 2 games for you tomorrow. We have the game between Brighton versus Crystal Palace and Liverpool versus Manchester City. But we're going to talk about the game between Brighton and Crystal Palace. Brighton is the favorite. I think Brighton is the favorite. This game, Brighton have a lot to lose. Also, Crystal Palace have a lot to lose. But Crystal Palace, they went through a difficult time where, you see, Eze transferred to Arsenal, Mark Gahey transferred to Manchester City, and so forth and so on. So all the top players are gone. All the top players are gone. So, hence, this game, I can clearly see that Crystal Palace is not 100. They're not 100. So I would give Brighton the edge over Crystal Palace. Yes, I would give Brighton the edge over Crystal Palace. The other game that we have, this game that we have for you tomorrow, this big game, Liverpool versus Manchester City. And like I said, I would like Liverpool to win this game. And it's quite obvious. It's quite obvious because if Liverpool win this game, then Arsenal would be up by a certain amount of points. And It better for Arsenal, better for the Gunners to keep their lead and to keep winning. So this game tomorrow at Anfield, Liverpool versus Manchester City, and I will stick my neck out and say Liverpool will get the victory. Liverpool should get the victory. I want Liverpool to get the victory, to win this game. But Manchester City is no pushover. Manchester City is no pushover. So this game is a very serious game. So there you have it for the English Premier League preview roundup show. So like, share and subscribe to the Athletes Canvas channel, where the athletes display their God-given gift, talent and ability. Until next time, we are out.